Today we are riding Phil's World in Cortez, Colorado. Our first stop when we started living in the Airstream full-time was at Mesa Verde National Park, and we drove right by Phil's World, and we didn't know it was so close. People chimed in and said, "Hey, you're crazy, you drove right by Phil's World and you didn't even ride it." And we've been researching and Phil's World is one of the coolest mountain bike trails out there. We're excited to experience it firsthand. First we're going to do the southeast loop with Fender. It's called Hippie House. Looks pretty easy. That should get him tired out so he'll sleep in the car while we do all the rest of this. All the trails here are one direction, which is really nice. That means you're not going to be flying downhill when someone's coming uphill. This trail we're on is super easy. It's a great beginner's trail. Hardly any big stuff. Kind of boring for me. It's flowy and twisty, but it's all smooth dirt. You could ride this on a rigid bike, no problem. You wouldn't even need suspension. So I'm glad these trails exist, especially for beginners to get confident and have fun. But I really hope there's some more technical, fun stuff that requires picking a line a little better than what we're on now. Finally, a little bit of rock. Well, we're back. Fender, his part of the leg is done. He did a great job. He'll just sleep in here now. It's 60 degrees, perfect temperature. We got the windows cracked. He'll be fine while we go ride the other stuff. I hope the other stuff's more fun because that was a little too mellow for my liking. I'm okay with mellow stuff, and it was flowy, but I definitely prefer having to think while on the trail instead of just kind of meandering.
Let's head over to the main loop now. There's a local club that maintains this trail, and they all pay an annual fee to help pay for the lease of the land. And so they ask any guests who are not a part of their club to contribute $3 to help keep this trail open.
Today we're riding a 28-mile loop. It's going to be good practice for white rim in 2 weeks. As you can see, we are somewhere in here and we're headed somewhere over here. That was sweet.
Just a little.
One technique that takes years and years to learn to do and remind yourself is to look as far ahead as possible. A lot of people will be riding here and looking 2 feet in front of their tire, when what I need to be doing is looking 100 feet ahead. So here we go. Swoops there. I could be fixating there, or I could see that it's going to drop in a gully and climb me up, so I'm going to want to keep my speed through that to get up the gully. Then if I keep looking, I can see it's going to turn around and go left again. So I can see this whole thing linked as one big flow instead of 40 little pieces 5 feet apart. So you don't want to get target fixation when you're riding and just stare at what's right in front of you. You want to keep your head up, especially on a trail like this where there's no rocks. Like, your peripheral vision can ride this entire trail, and your main vision should be looking at what's 100 yards ahead. Easier said than done, but that's a really good tip for those of you that are starting out mountain biking or wanting to improve. It's a good reminder for anybody. Yeah, nice job. I've seen this skull in so many mountain bike magazines. It's cool to be here right now. Yeah, love it.
long ride today. It's gotten more interesting though. There are still long stretches of smooth trail that's nice and flowy, but there's some cool little steps and obstacles to make it a little more interesting now that we're on the main loop.
And this north side's like 10 times more fun than that first little loop we took Fender on. We were probably 16 miles in out of 27, 28. Good for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're at the highest point. Can't catch her. She's too fast. That section was fun. A lot of this trail goes across private land, and the private landowners are okay with it. But in this upcoming section, it sounds like recently one of the private landowners is not okay with us riding on his land. So when it gets to that, we have to turn around and take a Jeep road back, which is kind of a bummer, but we still want to see what's out there and ride as much of this as possible. Go ahead. Oh, that was sweet. Dang, just when it was getting good. Now we're about to ride the infamous portion Ribcage. This is the one we've heard so much about. I don't know what to expect. It's gonna be exciting. Last little climb. Oh, that's cool. Whoa! This is cool. Oh, I see the car. Okay, that was a fun ride. I prefer stuff a little bit technical, but if you like flowy stuff where there's like G-outs and you swoop way down and when you come up you get weightless and then cool berms, it's like a downhill BMX track with no bumps in it. That was super fun.
Another thing that I liked about the trail was that the climbs, they weren't gut busting, they kind of meandered so that you gradually get up there, which was really nice. And the downhill made it all worth it. That was a blast.
One other interesting thing about these trails, you do not need a huge enduro/downhill bike to ride them. My bike had more travel than you would want on this. Teresa's bike probably even had a little more travel than you want. You could ride this on a hardtail with like 100 to 120 millimeters of front suspension and you'd be just fine. So don't feel like you need to go buy the most radical bike out there. It's actually, the most radical bikes actually kind of tame this down a little bit. I was hoping for more chunky stuff to use my bike to its fullest. I was still having a blast, but my bike was not being pushed at all on what it can handle. So due to the private land issue, we only rode 26.5 miles today. We didn't get the whole 27.8. Cool set of trails, totally worth the $3 to pay to keep them open. And whoever builds these and maintains them in the local clubs, you guys rock. We fully support you.
Thank you.